Welcome everybody. Welcome. This is gonna be our first regular tier list that we're gonna be starting. So we'll keep this up to date. We're currently aiming for every week, but I think really it's just going to be when changes are introduced, whether that's small patches or overall meta changes or games seen and played in pro play, etc. These all have big effects and those can affect the overall tiers. So I think it's going to be more when that happens, but current goal every week for sure. And the way I think we're going to be handling this overall is with each lane. We'll kind of talk about the stronger champions for that lane, how those matchups go, with just a little bit of detail sprinkled where necessary overall. This is kind of an attempt to give a really good blanket generalization of what is good in the meta right now and what should be focused on. Gonna start in your general pick order. So we'll go top lane. Well, we'll do the solo lanes first. That's what we're gonna do. So we'll do
Yeah.
top lane into our mid lane matchups, and we're gonna have our wonderful, the legend here himself, Heartpulse, discuss those. Then Teddy's gonna come in, start talking about jungle, the matchup they're in, and what champions to really try to abuse before they get changed. And then I will finish it out with our bot lane matchups. Of course, we're all talkative kids. We will be focusing on trying to cover everything with a little bit of generality, but
A lot of
there will definitely be
champions.
some interjections. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So if we wouldn't mind going right on into it, you wanna start us off here, Heart Pulse, with the top lane matchups?
Yo, what's up, guys? So, you want me to just start from like S tier, from OP tier?
Well, first, I think it'd be nice if you kind of give us a general idea of what is important top lane, right? So give us an idea of what metrics or what it is that you're gonna kind of be using, even if that's just your how do we say it, like your philosophy top lane,
Mhm.
what you're applying, your experience in there, so that we kind of know what you're following. Then yeah,
Yeah.
I think from best to worst in your experience.
I think some of the most important things top lane right now is how well you can control the wave, how well you can kill people with a lot of HP, and how well you can scale. And with those three things in mind, some of the best top laners right now are Malphite, Fiora, Olaf, Darius, and Jax, in my opinion. I
Okay.
put Malphite in OP, I put Fiora in S, and Olaf in OP. I think honestly, Mon-Fri might be the only OP top laner.
Yeah,
I
I've got
did
a
I
I've got
did
a
like
few of those.
the Olaf and OP because he seems to be utilized a lot. Like if you especially if you get any type of lead or if you're breaking even, he just seems like like you can't do nothing against it. I've seen
So
a lot
why
of
why
different
is
builds.
Olaf in OP? I have an idea of why, but why is he in OP?
Um,
Um, a lot of champions that like are play top lane right now, like really healthy champions that they don't have a lot of mobility. They can't really do much except just stand there. Olaf just deals with them too well, right? Like you're playing Sion, you're playing Malphite, you're playing Shen. What are you gonna do except just get run over by him?
mhm.
So he's just a good pick
You
into a
got the
lot of these
true
champions.
damage. A lot of items really work really well with him too. Like the Ravenous is insane. The fucking uh Radius Virtue, like all these crazy builds that you could just optimize really well with depending on what you need for the team.
Sure. Now, what else was up there? You said the Malphite, the Fiora, the
I
Olaf.
think we keep Olaf in us. He's not OP.
Yeah, okay, perfect,
Um, Jax is really good right now.
great.
Thing too.
Yeah, we could put Vayne in like
Yo,
high
Vayne's
A
gonna be in
tier.
every role.
I think high A
Vayne's
tier.
gonna be in every position.
We could put Darius in S tier. Darius has never left S tier for like the past 4 years.
Yup.
It's pretty stupid.
If you don't
Hate that
know who to
champion.
ban and like you seem like everything is banned already, just Darius is a safe ban. Take him out.
Uh,
There's been a lot of Kled spam. Where do you got him at?
like I don't know, probably like low, like B.
Oh,
That champion's not very good. If it's like
he has an
only one
insane win
tricks,
rate.
yeah, it's only one tricks though.
Yeah, I would agree
No
with
one,
that.
yeah, he's
Mhm.
not good. He's nothing
I would
crazy.
agree with that. And if you do know how to play him and you are a one trick and
Yeah,
you're
you could do.
playing against someone who is susceptible to getting baited, holy moly. he can absolutely run
Right.
the game.
But now imagine you choose Khaled as a one trick into like a player with half a brain playing Malphite. What are you gonna do? It doesn't matter.
It was the most busted champion at the top right now.
Right. So it's like it's another one of those things like yeah, the win rate might be good, but it just depends on who's playing it. It's like it's like the same 10 people playing it, so you know it's gonna be good.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like,
I
there's
think I
more
could put
people right now, just for comparison, there's more people actually playing Olaf than there is Kled. And you don't really see that many
right.
Olafs.
Yeah, so it's like it just shows what it is. I think Shen and Kennen could be put in A tier.
Yeah, those are both really good. The Kennen actually is really nice after those last buffs that he had. I think they look
Yeah,
overtuned.
he's really good on some decent comps. You know, he has some decent matchups top lane. He could bully a lot of top laners that early can't get on top of him. And yeah, he's just a good champion right now. I think those might be like the only high tier like actual champions. Is like the Olaf and the Malphite and stuff like that.
What's
So
up
Every
with,
other kind of top laner honestly kind of sucks.
how's the Mordekaiser and Cho'Gath?
Cho'Gath could be like A tier, maybe. I just don't see like why you would choose him over a different tank.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
would
like
I would agree
whatever.
with that. I would agree with that, especially with what else you're dealing with top lane. Like, why would you pick Cho'Gath apart from those other 4 or 5 things that do basically what Cho'Gath does, but better?
Right. It's like you choose Cho'Gath and then you're gonna get run down by Fjord, you're gonna get run down by Olaf, you're gonna get run down by Darius, and it's just
Yeah, like it
it's just
seems
not
like
good.
everybody in S tier could just run down
Yeah.
the Cho'Gath.
Exactly. Right. And guess what? Who can deal with being run down by these attack speed champions is a Malphite with Frozen Heart and Emax. When you have
Yeah.
2 attack speed and you can't attack them. So
A
that's the
Vayne
only
from
right.
range.
Exactly.
A Shen who's just got a taunt and is strong, right? Like a lot of things there. Okay, so what about Camille though? Because Camille builds the most broken item in the game, so isn't she just automatically up there?
No.
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 Okay. Bet.
Are we being her?
Where would you place her? In B?
Probably like low AB, yeah.
I
She
feel
just
like
has
she
a
deserves A.
we could do it, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't play too much Camille, but I know she's not like really strong.
Sure.
She's not
Sure.
OP.
She's low key
Maybe
more
more like
than
a one trick situation.
yeah.
Yeah, it's another one trick situation, I think. Where
Yeah.
it's like there's just certain champions that can be better than what it is naturally, but you just have to commit so much time that it's just not worth it, right? It's like you're gonna be playing a certain champion for a year when the time that it's good is gonna last like 4 weeks.
All right.
What about the Mordekaiser?
C tier, B tier.
Oof.
Oh, now that's kind of a popular belief.
He's
Why is
not,
that?
just not that good of a champion. He's too slow. He's clunky. His abilities are too like choreographed and like easy to dodge.
Sure.
Definitely.
Like if you're
I've
gonna
had a lot of those
just
situations.
stand there and get hit by everything, yeah, he's strong 1v1. But now what? You turn on your brain and now it's like, all right, this champion's like pretty useless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say he's more like a lower elo pick.
Yeah, it's
Heard.
just a counter pick. You see a lot where you choose Muff or fucking you choose Mordekaiser. You press
Right.
R, her tentacles
Right.
disappear, whatever. That's your counter pick.
And I think
More
that's
of a counter
that's going to be
pick.
a pretty common theme throughout this. Is there's a lot of champions out there that'll have high rankings and high win rates and high tiers on the general listings, but really most of the time those champions are being picked as counters,
Right.
right? So they're going to, by their nature, have stat boosts overall in their tier ranking, in their win rates, because most of the time people are playing them in favorable conditions.
See that? I agree with that. What about the infamous Riven?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Um, I think right now she's like B tier.
All right,
But
heard.
next patch she might be A, possibly us because of Duff Dance.
Ooh, what
They're
are they
giving it back
using?
CDR, so it's like
Yup.
viable. Yeah, it's good to
That
build.
CDR is looking great.
Gotcha.
I can't
This
wait for
entire
that.
time I didn't build it because I had no CDR, right? It's like I don't want to build
Right.
it with no CDR. Like you could, but it's just not that good. But now that you can build it every game again, yeah, it's really good.
Seems like
Plus
the
with the
B stuff is a bunch of like you either one trick these champions or you don't play them.
yeah, it's like a
So
counter pick or you just one trick it.
right, right. So
A tier is just like overall decent champions, and then you have S and OP.
what about then? I'm gonna bring up like 3 or 4 more champions that I feel like I see pretty often and get your opinion on them, and then let's just kind of rapid fire through the last 10, 15 popular top laners and just place them where you feel like they should go. So, Gwen, what do you feel about Gwen?
Honestly, when I was playing her, she felt really, really good. I think she's underrated
That
I
as a
agree.
Nashers.
champion right now.
How do you like the Nashers on her?
It doesn't really change anything.
So you don't want
Yeah.
CDR favorite with Gwen?
No, it doesn't really change any of like the way her cooldowns impact her gameplay.
Mhm.
It's honestly kind of just like more expensive now. Like
Sure.
you would go Riftmaker Nashers basically every game, but now it's just 200 gold more for some CDR that doesn't really help you.
Yeah.
If
Mhm.
anything, it might be a nerf because you just have to farm more.
Yeah.
But
You gotta stick
you know,
around
it's
for
an
that
extra
extra wave
CDR
or
though,
two.
right? But it's extra CDR, so you can't really complain.
Sure.
But
Sure.
yeah, I think she's really good. I think she might be like high A tier.
High A. Okay,
High
cool.
A tier.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So the next one that I'm curious about is one that I don't feel like I have seen, but I feel like is good, but I'm coming from an ignorant standpoint, is the Rumble, right? Because they had those Rumble changes come in. They've had favorable conditions for him for the most part. I just haven't seen a lot of data, and I haven't gathered a
True.
lot of data on him.
What Rumble changes?
They doubled
They
his magic pen.
Yeah, they changed his magic pen on his E. So it used to
Literally double.
stack 10%, 10%. So you hit him twice and you shred them by 20% max.
Right.
But they just doubled that. So now if you hit him twice, you 40% shred them. So they put him in line with like Mordekaiser shred and things of that nature. So he was able to really he's now able to really destroy tanks pretty heavy. And he
Times I
already
seen
is pretty good.
him, the times I've seen Rumble really pop off is when there's an AP jungler. Cause like you gotta
Right.
think he's
Heard.
shooting the E to set up the AP. All of a sudden this
Right.
jungler comes out of
Okay.
nowhere and just one tap, bow.
Sure. So maybe more of that just like BC area of good in certain conditions,
Right, like a
kind of
low
stuff.
B or so, because it's really situational. It's another thing that it's like, hey, you see a Silas pick early or something like that. It's like, fuck it, I'll play the Rumble top,
Sure.
try to set up this gank.
Now, I think the last one that comes into my mind as like I feel like maybe it's still good, but I don't really know. Maybe he was too hard nerfed. Would be Tom Kench. Where's Tom Kench right now?
Like C tier.
Yeah,
Hey, he
just
feels bad.
absolute
Mediocre.
trash.
Mediocre champion.
Absolute
Don't choose
trash.
over anything else.
He was really bad.
Oh no.
So
I stopped playing
choreographed.
top lane because of that. I'm not gonna lie.
So sad. So sad.
Like,
Bad.
look at the champions above him and tell me who he beats.
Oh, I don't tell me that. I don't put
I
the
don't care about
beats.
your personal experience playing Tom Kitchen like silver. I mean, like
Okay,
actually.
okay, but what about the matchup against Malphite? I don't actually know how that goes. Is that like
Tom Kitchen probably can trade with him well, but I mean, unless you guys are just like fighting like animals, I don't see how either of you kill each other.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
kind of just a farm lane,
Sure,
or like
sure.
whoever gets the gank first.
Cool. Well, now I'm just gonna kind of rapid fire through things, and
Yeah, we
I
could
think
spew some names
throw
out.
them in there. And if you have other things you want to say about them, go on ahead. So I've seen some Rengar. Where's Rengar go?
After playing Rengar top, I honestly think he might be A tier, like low A tier.
Heard.
It's another thing where you have to one trick it. He's a really hard champion. He has a lot of mechanics. There's
Sure.
a lot of ways that you have to win matchups that you only know if you've played the matchup 100 times.
Bet.
So
I-
he can be good if you want to put in the time. He's always going to be a champion that can do the same things no matter the meta.
Got you. Got
And
you.
his build changes around a lot. You can do a lot of different things with him. You can go assassin, you can go AP, you can go bruiser. So there's ways you can fit him to every comp. So I think he's a solid pick.
Heard. All right. What about Akshan?
Akshan,
Because
Probably
he's like
B
a
tier.
mid top laner, right? Like that's his whole purpose. Is he
yeah,
mid to top?
I think he's B.
All right.
He's
Cool.
B. He's not like anything amazing. If you again, he's a thing that you have to play him a lot. But there's just not much you can do versus these champions. Maybe you could choose him to Darius and like zone him out of the way or something. But
Sure. What about
You know.
Singed?
Singe is another one trick champion. I don't see anybody play this champion unless they're trolling, unless they only play Singe. So
Would you put him
probably
in the C or the B?
I put him in A.
Put him in A. Okay,
Yeah.
bet.
I
Got
don't
you.
think he's bad. I think AP top laners are underrated. There's not a
Okay,
lot of
heard.
AP top laners, so
Yeah, it's really not anymore.
yeah.
Like speaking of, what about like the Maokai?
Oh, what about Maokai?
Oh, terrible! You don't play that top lane.
Oh, I don't play.
So nobody plays the top lane for a reason. Eh?
Right,
Play that jungle,
right,
play that support.
What about Pantheon?
Probably B tier.
Heard.
Again, there's not much he can do versus the champions above him. He's not one-shotting Darius. He's not out trading. He can't all in all off. He can't kill Malphite. Imagine him into Fiora, she parries your stun, she kills you. Like, there's just too many champions that just deal with him too easily.
Mhm.
And he doesn't scale, so it's like, if you're not picking him to win lane, what are you picking him for? I guess you could roam, but if you're gonna roam with 50 CS at 20 minutes and just die, like, go for it.
All right. What about Silas?
Silas is always A or S tier, just because he's a counter pick champion, and when you pick him, he's only there to do his job. Honestly, he's a really good pick into Malphite. He beats Malphite in lane. He uses his ult better than him. You can honestly put him S tier.
Beautiful. So this, I would put that one as like a S tier with asterisks, right? So
Right.
that's kind of what I was doing with some of mine was
I was
they
trying to.
they
Sorry.
yeah, there's a way. I don't know if there's a way to do it, but I feel like at least making mention of it here. Yeah, S with the conditions met.
Right. Because like if you're just choosing him to choose him and then you blind pick him into a Riven or Fiora or like a Darius, like you're just gonna lose lane. You're gonna be useless.
Right.
But if you counter pick him into a Malphite, like all right, now you just save the game basically.
Sure. What about Scion?
Scion is weird because I don't see any good Scion players. All of them are really stupid and just run it down 0 and 10.
Yeah.
But like the very time you see a good one, they're really like good at the side lane pressure. They get unkillable, and they're just like the most unkillable guy in the entire game. So I think he's a
True.
really good tank into certain matchups, into certain picks. So I think he could be like A tier.
I also feel like he's relatively easy, even though like there is a skill cap on him, or like a high skill cap. He's still pretty easy to pick up.
Yeah, you can do a lot of like tanking. You just stand there, right? Just walk around,
Mhm.
sunfire, like they're gonna hit you. You got him out, your shield pops. Like you don't even need to get a fully charged Q. You just stand there, just walk around.
All right. What about Poppy?
Oh, I think Poppy's another good like counter pick champion. Like you're not gonna be blind picking her, but if you see a Fiora, you see a Riven, you see a Silas, you can choose Poppy.
Sure.
She's just like another Silas where it's like conditional on what you're picking her into.
All right. What about
So she could
Vladimir?
be A tier. Vladimir, uh, I don't think he's that good right now. Like for
Yeah.
top lane, he's not really that good. I don't see.
I haven't seen him a lot. I haven't seen him a
Yeah.
lot at all, really.
He's another one trick champion. Like you have to know exactly what you're doing on him, or you're just gonna like be completely useless and blade out of lane. You're not gonna scale. You're gonna be just like a walking 300 stack of gold, basically.
Yep.
Like, you need to know what you're doing on Vladimir to make it work.
All right. What about Quinn? Is that a thing anymore, or
I
is
mean,
it pretty much phased out?
she's only played top again by one tricks, and even by one tricks, she's like terrible.
Yeah, she
Heard.
still
I've never
gets
seen a good Quinn player in my
smashed.
life.
All right. What about Lowy?
I swear this character is like secret OP, but only because Iceborne is the most broken item in the game.
Yo, hidden OP is totally a section that I have in mind. Hidden OP is there's not enough space for it here, but there's definitely can you just put them in OP and
You can
we'll
add a
talk
hidden
about it?
OP, right?
Because I agree. Oh, hidden OP. Yeah, there you go. That's a perfect one. That's a perfect one. All right,
She's
so why
very
is that?
hidden OP into certain comps. Like her win rate is like not the highest, but if you're picking her into certain comps and you can abuse Iceborne, there's nothing they can do against you. You become a side lane demon. They can't stop you. You have every item you need to deal with every champion, and you're just too tanky to be stopped.
Sure.
And you don't really need to land your Q. You don't need to land skill shots. You just spam your W. Iceborne's off cooldown. They're perma slow. They can't run away from you. And if you can't kite a lobby, what are you doing?
Heard. With the with Mundo changes, are people even playing Mundo top anymore? Or is it just jungle really?
I don't think they're playing him either. I don't think he's good in
Yeah.
jungle, and I don't think he's amazing top lane.
We're gonna speak on that. I think he's low key one of them
All right,
hidden
we'll
OP
get
junglers.
we'll get to that, Teddy. We'll get to that. Don't worry about that. Don't commit. We'll talk about jungle later. All right, so not top lane though. Not top. All right,
No,
heard.
definitely not top lane.
So,
So
we
just
just
don't play.
play.
Don't play.
I mean, you can play him like he's a good counter pick champion. There's like a lot of champions like that. He could probably be like low B
See?
tier.
Low BC. Okay.
Yeah, low B. Like he's not terrible, but he's just not. You don't want to pick him over another champion if you have the option.
Got it. Got it. All right. What about our good old boy Gragas? I have seen him. I feel like a few times in a lot of positions, mostly in jungle. But I don't know. He's been popping up in my games. Is there anything there?
I think Gragas could be A tier.
Yeah.
If you know how to play him, he has his own mechanics. He has his own like animation cancels and all these things that you need to know for certain matchups. Or you can play Tank Gragas where you just spam the same combo in lane that is untradeable with, then you scale. Either way, he's a good champion to pick into certain things like Riven, Camille, Fiora. Maybe not Fiora. If the Fiora is good, she can fuck you up. But a lot of these champions that have dashes and they want to go for short trade patterns, even a Rengar, he's a good counter pick into those things.
Gotcha. I feel like top lane is probably gonna have the largest list here, y'all. Just
Yeah.
So now the more I'm thinking about it, the more I can think about more and more and more and more champions.
What about
Zach
this
is
guy?
definitely one of them.
No
Where
one
does
plays
this
that
guy
top
go?
lane.
I don't play this.
Don't play. Don't play.
In the trash can.
What about Timo? Where's Timo go? Is he up there anymore?
Timo.
Because a
I'm
lot,
not-
what I'm seeing a lot up there are people that don't care too much about Timo, really. Like overall, there's a little bit, but
I think Timo could be B tier.
E tier Timo. All
Is
right,
he
so
like low
playable
mid,
but
high.
not great.
He's playable. Like he's I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. This Timo. Like you just be
That's
annoying
fair.
in lane. You choose it into a champion that can't reach you, and you just spam poke him and do your side lane thing. Really.
But
So
dog.
the champion I feel like he would go get best against then comes into my mind, which would be Tryndamere. Where's Tryndamere?
Tryndamere? Terrible. You see that guy? You see
Don't
that guy in the
play.
top lane? You see that guy in OP? All right.
Especially after the Navori nerfs and whatnot, right? Like he just
Yeah.
got gutted for his item.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does no damage. He
Right.
can't kill tanks. Malphite's running around, making the game unplayable. It's just not good for Tryndamere.
So
I
with
thought about
Malphite,
the
go
dog.
ahead, Teddy.
I thought about the dog when we were
Ooh,
talking about
DK.
Timo. I'm like,
All right, where's DK sit? Sure.
Also C tier.
C tier.
C.
Bet.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then how about Kale? Because that seems like isn't that pretty decent against Malphite?
No, that champion is terrible in these buffs.
Bet. Don't play.
It's unplayable. She was pretty good a while ago, and then I don't know what happened. They just cut off her legs and just left her there. All her items suck. Yeah, I don't
What
know.
about Urgot? I know that was a thing when they did the tank changes, and he was hitting OP. He was for a minute. Is that
How
the
long
thing?
ago was this? I don't think he's like good.
It was when they first introduced like the Jack show and everything. It was
Oh,
really the
yeah.
first week. He was just disgusting with the scaling that came from those things, and they quickly nerfed it.
Yeah, because his gameplay is too one-dimensional, and it has quote-unquote no counterplay when it works, but it does have counterplay. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
Sure.
when it happens, it's like there's nothing you can do about it, but there's stuff you can do to prevent it.
Bet.
He's just too abusable in lane. Like if you aren't just playing a champion that could just stand there and walk in, and you have some type of kiting or range.
Got it.
And
think
there's
he
not
beats-
much.
Everybody in C tier though.
Yeah, probably.
That's true.
So he'll be like a
He
high
definitely
C.
beats everyone in C tier. He definitely beats everyone.
Definitely
in C tier.
not like maybe not Quinn, but like everyone else. Yeah. Up until they scale, but you see all those champions will scale him.
Mhm.
Sure. All right.
So
What
that's
about
just another thing.
Volibear?
That champion's terrible. I'm pretty sure he's getting buffs. He's like, don't play tier, C tier, whatever you want to call it. Just don't play it.
Do people play Wukong top anymore, or is it
Mm-mm.
just?
He's just too overpowered jungler. Don't if you're playing
Yeah.
Wukong, swap your jungler, go play
Yeah,
Wukong
okay,
jungle.
cool. And then you mentioned Ornn. I think, where's Ornn gonna go?
It's kind of weird, because like I don't feel like Ornn's ever a bad champion, but he might be in some bad spots sometimes.
Sure.
So I think B is comfortable where he's not too horrible, he's not good, but you could play him if you know how to play him. He does have his own mechanics, he does have his own things you need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you can just pick him up like a Malphite and just, stand there and do your thing. You need to actually like sit down and practice to and learn it. And I don't think that's
Hit up
worth
that
it over
combo
some of these.
video.
Yeah. It's just not worth it. Like why you
Alright.
sit here to learn these combos when you could pull Frozen Heart and Malphite and do the same exact thing.
What about Jace? This is a pro play pick, popular.
No one ever should play this champion. You're not good enough to pilot it. No one's good enough to play it. Same thing with Fiora. She's S tier, but you don't play it because you're not good enough. Don't gaslight yourself into thinking you're good enough. It's fine. Because that's why we have champions like Malphite and Darius for it. Make your life easier.
There you
Super
go.
easy.
There you go. Heard it here first. All right. So what about your boy Yon? Where's Yon set right now?
Yone? Yone and Yasuo, we can put them together. They're both terrible. If you know exactly what you're doing on them, they can 1v5 a game.
it.
If you have 10 billion hours on them and you want to outplay every single micro thing that your opponent does. But again, it's the same thing with Jace. Why play that when
What
Malphite
about your
exists?
other
Why play
guy?
that? Set
Set,
could be
yep.
probably B tier. I think he's a good pick, or maybe even low A tier.
Heard.
There's a lot of characters in A tier, I think.
That
But
I think that's pretty common. There's a lot of A's, B's.
because there's not top champions are not bad, they just can't do a lot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure.
So if you're choosing them when they need to be chosen, they're gonna be good.
And
But
what
Set
about
is just a good counter pick into a lot of these champions. Like he beats Darius, like he can beat Fiora. It's hard, but a lot of champions that are just like melee brawler or brawlers, you can be you can just choose Set into it, and he's just really good.
Sure, that makes sense. All right. So what about your boy Aatrox? I've seen you play that a little bit recently.
I'm not too sure yet. There's just been a new build discovered with him. A lot of people are going Trinity Force on him now and going into the side lane. But this just came up a few days ago, so I don't know how it affects him too much. But other than that, he can probably be A tier, probably B tier.
High
Honestly, probably
beer.
B tier. Yeah,
Just
high
lead
B
him
tier.
off.
Sure.
Yeah. But he might be better depending on how this build like changes the way he's played.
Yep. And then I saw Teddy with Garen. Yeah. So where's Garen
This
at right
boy.
now?
Garen's pretty terrible. Can't kill any of the tanks. He can't beat any of the bruisers. There's just nothing he can do in this type of meta.
Would you say he's C or don't play tier?
Honestly, probably don't play tier.
All
I
right.
don't see
right.
like. I don't see it. Honestly, Vladimir might be don't play tier also.
What about Gangplank if we're on G's?
After the nerfs, he's not as good as he used to be. I think he'd be
Feels
like B tier.
weird. You're
Now I
really
feel
Uh,
like I would play him in hidden OP.
He's not hitting up. I know what you
not
mean. You
anymore.
see
It
crazy
used to
stuff with him.
be. Yeah.
He's B tier
Yeah, they just screwed him,
because
right?
they nerfed his passive. He's
Yeah,
not
really
overkilling
hard.
things with true damage anymore.
Yeah.
But if you're the best GP in the world and you're landing every single barrel, alright, he's S tier because you're one-shotting an entire team every time. But the skill it takes to do that is just not.
I've
You're not
also
sold
seen
on.
some of the best game planks in the world struggle in certain
Right.
matchups. So it's
Sure.
like,
Right, and if you're not
those
that guy,
kinda
so
suck.
you're not gonna be doing that. You're just not that guy.
Mm-hmm. Aurelia?
How about our boy? Yeah, Aurelia.
Aurelia. I don't know. It's weird. It's another one thing. You're the best player in the world to go ahead play it, but you're not the best player in the world.
Do
So
we
don't play
put that? I feel like that goes in the hidden OP section, right? Is that kind of area where
Nah.
it's no,
it.
not
She's
okay.
not even OP.
Bet.
If you know
Heard.
the player, she's like good.
It's like a
Yeah.
high B. We fucking
Not
silent.
even high B.
Oof. Is she leading the C
Ooh,
chart?
You have to
wow.
be, a lot of these champions you have to be so good at to make it work that it's just
Sure, it's just not worth it.
worth
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my biggest
right.
argument too with a lot of things is that if the champion has a
Yeah.
large skill cap, kind of just chill off of it a little bit. Like, yes, she looks
Yep.
crazy, but that's because those people put in the hours and the constant
Right.
time to learn that.
Sure. All right. What about Nar?
Nala probably B tier. Just another thing you choose when you have a good comp for him. You know, you choose it into a good matchup and then you play for your team. He's not
Okay.
really a crazy character.
Probably
There's a lot of
side by
characters
side
like that in
with
top lane. Yeah.
These are all like
Same type of
team-oriented champions.
Right, like you have to know your matchups and stuff.
What about Cassante, the broken new champion, y'all?
I feel like recency bias might put him higher, but he's not that good right now. Like,
Especially after
he's
those nerfs, I
nerfed a
don't
lot.
think.
Item
Yeah.
nerfs, just a
Yeah,
lot
he's
to
gonna
like.
hit hard.
Maybe he was S on release, but right now he's probably like B tier.
Yeah. Who else? We got let's see, we got Renekton. Where's Renekton gonna go?
Champion's like terrible, no?
Yeah.
It's like unplayable almost.
He seems pretty ass to me.
Yeah,
He
there's
seems
like
pretty
nothing you can
ass.
do except for like choose it into a Riven or a Yasuo top that blinds
Yeah.
or a Camille, right? It's
There's
like
a
you
reason why
only,
he's more popular mid, right?
right, you just choose it to like counter Yasuo basically. It's like I don't think he's don't play tier. He's probably like low C tier because he's
Like
still like whatever.
lowest.
Right, he's like still could bully you
That's
in lane, but
Go over these guys though, right? He kills them all.
No, he's worse than them though, unless
Doesn't he
he's
kill this
against
guy too?
them.
That's why I'm like,
not even. But not even because if you have a brain and you don't die to him in lane, or he's a good
Yeah,
team
he's just worse than all of them anyway, and
Yeah.
that's what he counters. Oof. All right, so the last one I can think of would
Ew.
be Yorick. What about Yorick? Yep.
Yorick.
It's fucking
I know he has this new build where they go like Comet and Eclipse, and his E damage is ridiculous. But I don't think that's like changes his core gameplay too much.
Heard.
So he's probably around another C tier pick.
Sure.
There's just other better side laners. Like if you want a side lane, go choose Fiora, go choose Set. You're gonna beat him 1v1. You're gonna do more than him. You could team fight better than him. You could beat him in lane. Like, yeah, he's just a mediocre champion.
Are we missing anybody before we move on?
I think that's it.
I think
Outside
these
of
are pretty much champions.
odd picks.
Does a Kali count?
Yeah, but that's basically don't play tier.
She counts, but not really. Oof.
I think those are all the champions. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Alright, so this is wrapping up the top lane tier list right here. You heard it here first. There's only one OP himself. That is The Rock. The Rock is the guy.
And one hidden OP. One top and one on the bot side. Like, that's kind of fun. If you know what you're doing, you can get some stuff done without allowing, as long as you're smart with it.
Actually, change Irelia to B tier.
Aurelia to B tier. You heard it here. Aurelia's a little bit better.
That's good.
Right there. There she goes. Beautiful. Save that. And let's pull up one for our mid lane.